A beautiful first half plus a torturous second half ultimately equals the best Missouri road victory in well over a decade. So let's talk about it right now on Locked On Mizzou.
You are Locked On Mizzou, your daily podcast on the Missouri Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, all you true sons and daughters, I'm John Miller, your Mizzou mafioso and the central scrutinizer of Missouri Tigers football and basketball. And today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first ticket purchase. And what a beautiful victory for Missouri, though the second half was far from beautiful for Missouri. But let's start off with the positive here on this episode. The first top five win by Missouri on the road since beating Baylor all the way back in 2012. That exciting Missouri season. Also on Dennis Gates' birthday, by the way. You could definitely argue this is his best win as a Missouri coach. And if it's not this, well, it might be another one this season. Obviously at home against the Kansas Jayhawks as well. And the Tigers really controlled most of this basketball game on the back of, well, excellent three-point shooting in the first half. As I sort of alluded to in the preview, leading up to this game, Missouri needed to knock down shots to have a shot in this basketball game. And, well, Missouri wasn't knocking down as many perimeter jumpers in the second half. Well, it had to hold on for dear life there. But truly incredible offense in the first half by Missouri, and like I said, the three-pointers really slowed down in the second, but it wasn't just that. Of course, really the officials slowed down the game as well with foul after foul after foul, and I don't want to sound like a whiner here from a Missouri perspective. No, this is whining from a basketball fan's perspective. I just don't love how college basketball is called, and I especially don't love what amounted to, according to the ESPNU broadcast, I should say, what amounted to 8+ replay reviews in that basketball game. And obviously some really consequential ones at that. But I'll tell you this, one of the bigger takeaways from this game is that, number one, Walter Clayton Jr. for the Florida Gators really kept them in the basketball game, but down the stretch with Anthony Robinson with 4 fouls, well, it was actually true freshman T.O. Barrett and his size and ball handling, by the way, offensively down the stretch as well. But I really thought his size defensively bothered Clayton down the stretch of that basketball game, and impressively T.O. Barrett played about the last 7 or so minutes of that basketball game. Robinson checked in late to play with T.O. Barrett down the stretch as well. But that was some impressive poise from Barrett, and I think we've seen that so far this season. But this was by far the most impressive example so far. I know I had a 4%er, a female member of the audience, remark that, in fact, Barrett was her favorite Missouri point guard since Phil Pressey. And I said, hey, I'm not really willing to go that far yet. But at the same time, I thought that was an interesting comment. And I did think that, well, I really like T.O. Barrett's size for the position and his ball handling, I think, at the very least, combined with that size, those two skill sets and traits, I guess, is really something that I think can play at the SEC for sure. But man, I tell you, that second half of basketball, as beautiful as it was for Missouri to win that game, was that not absolutely brutal to watch? Listen, I think I'm going to die on this hill. I've said it before and I'll say it again, but we've got to just abolish instant replay in basketball. I want to talk about that, and also Missouri, well, how it closed it out down the stretch, and also what's probably looking to be a sellout this Saturday against Arkansas. Boy, the Pigs have gotten off to a really rough start. So let's talk some more Missouri basketball here in just a second. But first, Game Time. Ah, yes, the best place, of course, to find all types of last-minute ticket deals, including to the Missouri-Arkansas basketball game. Tickets are fairly reasonable right now, but, well, after this win over Florida, I guarantee you people are rushing to their apps right now. So beat the rush. Go to Game Time, the best place to get incredible deals on great seats, especially when you use Game Time picks. Well, that filters out all the fluff, gets you all the best deals. In general, you just got to use Game Time and take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Download the app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. And by our friends at WayFair. And after the holiday hustle, there's nothing like giving your home a little TLC. I always find that decluttering and refreshing my space helps me get back into the workflow and routine. Well, whether you're tidying up, clearing out, or just want to give your space a new look to start the year, WayFair has everything you need all within your budget. And here's the greatest part about WayFair. Not only is it affordable, I think it's really stylish stuff and free, hassle-free delivery, even for larger items. How can you beat that? Give your home the refresh it needs with WayFair. Head to wayfair.com right now. That's WayFair.com. WayFair, every style, every home. Now, I hate to complain after a huge Missouri basketball victory, because here's the deal. This was an enormous victory for the Tigers, shooting Missouri all the way up to 33rd in the KenPom projections, and based on, well, their net rating heading into the game, which is even more important for March Madness purposes, I imagine the Tigers will be even more favorably rated than that. And in fact, KenPom now has the Tigers with a winning record at 10-8 in the SEC, 21 wins projected overall. Hey, still a lot of basketball left to be played here, but based on Missouri's resume so far, it's quite obvious the Tigers are a March Madness NCAA tournament team as of today, with 2 wins over legit top 10 teams, one on the road, obviously in Gainesville, one at home against the dastardly Kansas Jayhawks. So obviously things have not been perfect so far for Missouri. Clearly things were not perfect, especially in the second half for Missouri, although the first half was pretty darn close to perfect. But the end result, once again, has got to make you happy as a Missouri basketball fan. Just a really impressive season, especially a comeback season after last year for Dennis Gates and company. And again, seriously, I'm not even joking when I say abolish instant replay in basketball. I'm really not joking at all. I'm saying college level, NBA level, every single level of basketball. I can live with a missed call here and there if we don't have to stop the freaking basketball game every 2.5 minutes. I'm tired of this. It ruins the flow of the game. It's bad enough in college basketball when a team can get in the bonus with 10 minutes left plus in the game. Again, there's never been a more glaring example of why, if you want to keep halves at the very least, can we just reset the bonus situation 5 every 10 minutes? That'll get you in the bonus. That type of deal. That's what every other than men's college basketball, every other level of basketball plays quarters, by the way. The women, NBA, high school, youth basketball. I'm telling you, find me another example, international, the whole deal. It's all quarters except, strangely, men's college basketball. That really is something that needs to change, in my opinion. And by the way, even when there are instant replays, it's not as though they always get the calls right either. Now, technically, I will say that Tony Perkins call where he elbowed the Florida player in the groin area, as they said on ESPNU. You know what? Technically, that's the right call based on the rules. He hit him in the groin area, and it was not incidental. I think that's probably fair. It did seem a little harsh to kick him out of the game for that. It didn't seem like it was that violent of an act. He was definitely clearing space, and if you want to say he deserved a flagrant foul for that, well, I don't really have any argument against that. I just think kicked out of the game, really? And then suddenly when a big guy just smashes Caleb Grill in the mouth, well, that's fine. No big deal. Incidental contact there. I'm honestly not sure what the difference is. I guess if you're not looking at the guy, you can just fling your arms wildly still, and things are fine. Hey, noted, I guess, if you're Caleb Grill and the other physically oriented members of college basketball. And obviously, while Missouri was consistently drawing free throws as usual, in the second half, boy, a lot of missed free throws that made the game closer than it should be. But give some credit to Caleb Grill and also Mark Mitchell, who knocked down 4 free throws to close it out in the final minute of the ball game. And about those Arkansas Razorbacks, they're now 0-4. They just went down to LSU tonight in Baton Rouge. Hey, let's make them 0-5. How about that? I would really enjoy bringing more pain to John Calipari. I don't know about you. By the way, it's a blackout game, by the way. So let's wear some black. How about 0-5 for the Pigs? And if we get there, we might even be able to make John Neighbors, my colleague, over at Locked On Razorbacks, a famously negative fan. We might even be able to make him quit the podcast, God willing, if we win that game. I'm just kidding, neighbors. You know I love all my Locked On colleagues, but I can't help but throw a jab now and then. But hey, thanks for joining me here on this quick bonus edition here on a late night, on a late Tuesday night here. Thanks for joining me here on Locked On Mizzou. I'll be back soon with you with more episodes. And of course, for your second listen, as always, check out Locked On SEC. I'll be on the squad later this week. Check out Locked On SEC on YouTube or wherever you get audio podcasts. And until next time, I'm John Miller. See you next time here on Locked On Mizzou.